The San Francisco 49ers hit a home run by bringing back Robert Saleh, and it's pretty interesting to see some of the player reactions to the addition to the 49ers coaching staff. Could this mean the San Francisco 49ers could potentially bring back former players or players from the New York Jets? But I don't know. Let's take a look at it all before we get too excited. Let's take a look at some of the posts that are going down. First off, I want to talk about Sauce Gardner. So, one of the things that became abundantly clear, at least from my perspective, is New York Jets players. I think they're out with ownership. I just think they're over the whole situation. I think with how you saw Garrett Wilson kind of handle last year, I think guys want out of that situation. And they all seem to have Robert Saleh's back when that whole situation went down. We got this post from Sauce Gardner, quote tweeting the hire of Robert Saleh to the 49ers with a big old sheesh and a couple fire emojis. I mean, could the 49ers theoretically use this leverage of Robert Saleh to be able to go get some former New York Jets players or even current New York Jets players that are potentially under contract or are heading towards free agency pretty soon, with either this year or the next year, and they have no intention of resigning with the Jets? They could go to ownership and say, hey, I want out and I got a destination that I'm looking for and I want to go play on a different coast. So that is something I think to consider. We did hear from Matt Barrows throughout this whole process that Robert Saleh is expected to have big time input into uh, the decisions in the draft on the defensive side from Robert Saleh. So that is another element. So it really does sound like he is going to have his fingerprints all over kind of the reconstruction of this defense. And there's a lot of holes on the defense. And so they have to be creative. And we also saw this DJ Jones right after the news was made. He said, good for him. We're seeing a lot of stuff happen around all these players. They even have Javon Kinlaw resharing. So a lot of people, a lot of former players, teammates are happy for Robert Saleh going back to the San Francisco 49ers. So I look at it like this. I think the 49ers were already one of the, it's already one of the top franchises in the league and already an attractive destination. But I think especially on the defensive side, bringing Robert Saleh, I do think that it becomes one of the more attractive destinations, especially for defensive players and even defensive players coming in on a 1-year deal. Yes, I think one of the fears that a lot of fans have regarding Robert Saleh is, will he stick around beyond this year? And I've talked about this. If he is hired next year as a head coach, that means the 49ers were successful. So that's a good problem to have. And I'm not opposed to that being another problem. I'm fine with that. If the 49ers are at the end of this next season looking for another defensive coordinator, great. That means the 49ers defense was successful. And that's what the 49ers need. Worry about next year, and we'll let the rest fall into play. Yes, you want to have a long-term look as well and make sure you're sustainable, but man, we got to win now, right? So this is a big I like this. I like the addition, and I kind of like the energy that has followed. A lot of players chiming in. It seems like everyone is pretty on board. We even got a post. It was actually pretty cool. Last night, Fred Warner posted a picture of him and Robert Saleh from earlier this year at the New York Jets game. Again, Saleh faced off against the 49ers week 1 this past season. And so this was a picture of him. But if you look at the other picture that I kind of put together, look at how short Fred's hair is. Like, this is like the beginning. And It's really cool because Fred Warner really credits Robert Saleh for being the one who found him. Talked about how Robert Saleh was the one who identified him, said he believed in him as a linebacker, um, and thought he could be a really, really good player. And if you don't remember, Fred Warner, a lot of people didn't know what Fred Warner was. They didn't know if he was a nickel cornerback. They didn't know if he was an edge player. They didn't know if he was a safety, an off-ball linebacker, outside linebacker, in a 3-4. No, that like I remember scouting Fred. I actually mocked Fred Warner in one of my mock drafts to the 49ers because I thought he was a good player. And I had learned the previous year from scouting Derwin James, where his versatility kind of scared me, where Derwin proved he's phenomenal. And so the versatility I saw in Fred, I was like, oh, he's a player. You just got to figure out where he's going to play. And Robert Saleh saw it right away. One of the big reasons why Fred Warner was drafted in the third round and why he had so much success. So it's a really cool situation, kind of a full circle moment, especially for Fred Warner at this stage in his career to be able to get the guy who believed in him back in the building. It's pretty cool. And also on top of that, like I wonder what this also has to do with Dre Greenlaw, right? We know Dre Greenlaw is going to be a free agent, and we know he wants to get paid. And we know it's a tricky situation right now with Dre, because he only played in what half a game this past year, and because of coming back from the ruptured Achilles that he suffered in the Super Bowl, and he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. He wants a payday, but maybe, just maybe, it would make a lot of sense for both parties to have Dre Greenlaw come back on maybe a 1 or 2 year deal, maybe a 1 year deal, so that he can leverage that into a big payday the following year. And maybe the addition of Robert Saleh makes that even more enticing. Maybe the belief that, well, this guy's going to put me in the best position to be successful. I already know this. So maybe it would make sense for me to come back for 1 more year, stay healthy for a full season, and then be able to take that production and leverage it into the big time contract that he is looking for. I don't know, dude. I think Robert Saleh brings a lot of juice with him. Um, and it could have an effect in multiple different areas. We're already seeing the 49ers interview the New York Jets defensive coordinator. So I do think it could be a potential. So I'm excited, man. Like there's so many reasons to be excited about this hire. Just thinking of how he's going to fit into the defense, but the potential of who he can bring with him as a recruiter. So I'm excited about this. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.